If you're listening right now to the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we know something about you. We know that you're obsessed with Little House on the Prairie.
For more than half a century, Little House on the Prairie, the series and the books have been bright lights for people all over the world who seek out goodness, decency, and human connection.
Here on the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we celebrate everything that made Little House so special.
The stories, the characters, the actors, and the messages that have made Little House iconic family television.
And a perfect counterpoint to a world that feels like it's going off the rails every day.
Where is Michael Landon when we need him most? I'm your host, Pamela Bob.
And I'm your prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim.
And I'm Dean Butler.
Our hashtag imaginary boyfriend. Join us for our loving, quirky, and often irreverent conversations about the finest family drama in the history of television.
And the imperfect people who made it that way.
In this third season, we are extremely grateful for the support of visitsimivalley.com for their continuing sponsorship of Little House on the Prairie and the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast. Well, hello, bonnet heads. It's another day, another episode. I'm your host, Pamela Bob, creator and star of Living on a Prairie, and super fan, and I'm here with our beloved prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim, and our hashtag imaginary boyfriend, Dean Butler. Hello, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you? Now the 70-year-old hashtag imaginary boyfriend.
How does it feel? Honestly, how does it feel?
He doesn't look it. Does he look?
Well, how does it look? I mean, I get, look, it's not perfect, but it doesn't look. I see people who are 64, 65, coming up on 70, and I feel like, wow, some people have had to live some very hard lives.
Yes.
And have not necessarily aged terrifically well.
Yes.
So I'm very grateful for whatever semblance of youth I've got hanging on here. I'm very grateful for it.
You've aged exceptionally well. I mean, we are all a little spoiled here in California or in Los Angeles. Everybody's eating all the health food and using all the moisturizers.
Are we?
Sunblocks and
I'm like,
isn't Dairy Queen. But yeah, I mean, you get out in some places and people are just like, yeah, no, we work outside and we don't use sunblock. And what's a moisturizer? And it's different. Life is different. They don't worry about their appearance in the ways we all focus on in Hollywood. So people tend to look a lot younger. But you are aging exceptionally well. There's some genetics there. You apparently took some reasonable care of yourself at some point.
At some point,
because or Dairy Queen is the fountain of youth.
Yes.
You don't look 70. You do not look 70.
No,
Okay,
not at all.
that is,
but that's why I'm asking because I know also for myself as I'm aging, it's like the number keeps going up, but I don't feel it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a real mind bend, and I think this birthday in particular was when I really like it. I already realized this years ago, but this birthday was like it really dropped this is how I'm going to feel the rest of my life, likely. The number keeps going up, but I don't feel equivalent to what that number represents, right?
Okay.
And in many ways, older and yes, I'm wiser, and yes, and life experience, and those are always the perks and the bonuses of aging for real. But I still feel how I felt when I was a teenager or in my young 20s. Or
lucky you.
Do you not? How do you?
No, I don't know. It's all sort of. You look at the decades and it's all sort of a blur. I think I would say this, and I'm going to knock wood here. I think you'd probably agree with this with yourself, Pamela. When we're young, because we don't know, this is like the most obvious thing in the world. We make stupid mistakes.
Yeah, totally.
We make stupid, unforced errors that we are fortunate to recover from in most cases. I think now at this stage of the game, I'm not as prone to step into unforced errors as perhaps it was just too easy to do when I was younger. So I think that's probably
that's the wiser part. That's the bonus.
Right. Older, wiser. Yeah. So I think that's definitely an advantage of the age. And then if you have, some level of vitality to go with that, you can sort of enjoy your discovered discretion.
Yeah, I mean,
that
health
you
is
maybe didn't have
everything
before.
for sure. Yeah.
I had a friend who told me that her great-grandmother told her, part of you will never be older than 15.
Yes.
And that she was well into her 90s, this woman, and said when she looks in the mirror, she's like, no, there's still this 15, 16-year-old girl in there. And she said, part of you emotionally, there's some part of you will just always, if you close your eyes, you go, yes. And you'll be like when you were 15 or 16, you wake up and look in the mirror and go, what the hell happened?
Right.
But that part of you mentally is similar to how you were at 15 or 16 and doesn't really change. You learn stuff.
God, boy, what a great transition point that is.
Yeah.
Right? That's the biggie. That's the biggie. Right about there, 15, 16, everything kind of, you know where you're going about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think that's also a great transition point for today's program, where we're going to be talking about something that's maturity based in youth, the discovery of, looking back at youth and immaturity, or the discovery of maturity. Really, really fun. And also, speaking of that, we know we have Melora Hardin coming on, not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. Would that be right? Yeah.
What is it today? Yes, that is correct. I'm saying we're recording on Tuesday. So yes, we drop on Thursdays. Yes. Next Thursday will be Melora.
And we're recording her this Friday.
We are. It's gonna be fun. Anything else before we get to the episode, guys?
I think we're going to start to see some announcements dropping, some teases of something fun that's coming in the form of Little House on the Prairie cast reunions today or tomorrow, set in Nashville. So people are going to start to see a little trickle of information on that, which is really going to be, I think, exceptionally fun.
Tennessee. Things are happening. I'm going to Burr Oak. I'm going to Burr Oak in June. We're going to Tulsa. We're going there. So much is going on, and I know things that are happening.
What things that are
anything.
So wait a minute. So you're prescient about something that you can't talk about?
Yes. Now, I think there's something that will be talked about actually this week that will be interesting. And there will be other things.
When will it come? When will it? You can't. I know you can't say what it is, but can you say when it is?
There may be something possibly this week.
This week. Okay, so here it is, Tuesday morning. It could this will drop Thursday. It might drop.
Oh, it'll be done
yesterday. It might drop.
Things may
tomorrow.
be known by then, and then there's other things that will be known later.
This is cryptic.
How cryptic can I be? More cryptic?
Wow. Yeah, really. This is a cliffhanger. All right. Well, the people are intrigued, including myself, because I have no idea what you're talking about. But maybe you'll tell me when we stop recording.
Yeah. I doubt it, but yeah.
I doubt it, right? You might get the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are those the announcements? We're good. Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get to the show, guys. But first, from UBN Go and Prairie Partners, and visit SeeMeValley.com, and you are patrons. This is the Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary Podcast. All right. Well, we needed a palate cleanser after the past few episodes. And this is maybe one of the most sweet, precious, lovely episodes that they ever did on the show. I have always loved this episode. Dean, what are we talking about?
So today we are talking about episode 16 of season 4. This is I Remember. I Remember premiered on January 23rd, 1978, written by Arthur Heineman, a really lovely script, directed and produced by William F. Claxton. This is really quite charming. So I didn't delete something from my rundown, but Allison, what is I Remember about?
I remember. It is nice. This is flashbacks, because Little House does flashbacks so well. We dig the flashbacks. So, as Charles struggles through bad weather, always, there's always something terrible going on. Broken wagon wheel, which he tries to fix with that rope that
I know.
we all knew it was going to break, but there you go. He's trying to get home in time for his wedding anniversary. The kids have decorated the house. Ma's making a special dinner. A worried Caroline keeps her daughters occupied by reminiscing about the early days of romance with Charles and the story of how they first met. None of which is historically accurate, by the way, but
Yeah.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
Okay.
they were neighbors. They did meet fairly young, but none of this.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't
It's
this
a dream
story.
sequence.
Yeah.
The episode gently explores the uncertainty, awkwardness, and tenderness that mark the beginnings of their relationship, culminating in the couple's first dance together. Oh, look about. Ah, yes, the lives we build become the stories our families carry forward. And the things that matter most in those stories are rarely wealth, success, or achievement, but love, presence, memory, and the people who come home to us. Yes. Now, this is one of the series' warmest and most nostalgic episodes.
Yes, it
It is
is.
also notable for featuring yes, the first Little House appearance of Matthew Labyorteaux. And later return so he plays Baby Charles, like Muppet Baby Charles. He's so cute, and then he becomes Albert, his son. It's like amazing, and you get Katy Kurtzman, who was later Anna the Stuttering.
Yes.
Yeah, I as I watch this, I think the earnest simplicity of what Matt Labyorteaux was doing. I don't know. I really don't know at that stage of his life how in control of all this he was.
Right.
I
He'd been
just don't
working.
know. But what he brought in this first appearance, which obviously just like absolutely nailed Michael to the wall when they auditioned him. There's just something so beautifully unconscious about what he's doing here. It just feels like such a genuine, authentic little boy. There's no actor kid here. I mean, Allison, you were around a lot of young actors, child actors. Matt just does not occur that way at all.
No, there's nothing stagey child actor, and that's what's hard because he had worked quite extensively in very, very dramatic roles, but that was a thing. It was always super, super kitchen sink realism, hyper realistic stuff that he did. So here he is doing something where he's not screaming or in some peril, but it's completely you believe this little boy.
Well, and that's what's so extraordinary about him and most of the kids on Little House, but just if we're talking about Matt, is that I don't know if people understand how rare it is to find a kid with this kind of ability, how rare it is to find a kid who's not actory, but also has a presence, you know what I mean? So he's not so casual that he's not acting, but he's not actor-y. And I just think it's like a little miracle that these people in this cast, right? Like these kids, I don't know where they came from. I don't know how they got where they were. Like, how did this happen? And not just once, not just twice, but across the board, it seems, for the most part. And also the fact that he looks like Michael.
Yeah.
The fact that, and even when
I always thought the hair was just amazing. And he still has that hair.
Yeah, and you believe that this is a little Michael Landon. There is, you don't have to suspend your disbelief. This is a completely believable thing. And I also found it very almost prophetic that when he came back as Albert, which is Michael's or Pa's, son he always wanted, that the fact that he also once played a little Michael Landon, not Michael Landon, played little Charles Ingalls, sometimes when you see repeat people, you're like, oh, well, that's so-and-so from that episode. But with Matthew, when he came back as Albert, it's almost like it was supposed to happen that way. It was meant to be. It made sense also for the viewer to go, of course, this little boy who played a young Michael Landon, young Charles comes back to play Charles's son.
Yes.
It all made sense.
Well, one of the things, his first gig was this little boy did A Woman Under the Influence, was little Angelo in A Woman Under the Influence, a very, very heavy film. And then he did the usual kind of TV shows and Bob Newhart and, all these television shows. And he was in Circle of Children, which like every child actor in Hollywood was in. He was on 23 episodes of Mary Hartman. So he was in everything, King of the Gypsies, one of the Gypsy Kids. And then, ta-da. So he did all this stuff. I think, despite his incredible resume and his incredible ability, I think it was one of those cases that was so common with Michael. I think he walked into the room and Michael saw the chemistry, his eyes, the look, and went, I'm done.
How could he not?
He walked into the room and opened his mouth and he went, and it is what I wish I looked like as a child. And as soon as, I'm sure they were not even done like filming this thing. And he said, I'm bringing this kid back.
Totally.
I'm sure that's true.
Totally.
Because I think he immediately went, done, finished, put him under, let's go. I think he did, because that's how he did things. People walked in, he went, yeah, you. And I think the chemistry immediately, the personality and the look, besides the fact that he could back it up, was probably instantaneous.
Back it up huge. I mean, really huge. I look at what Matt does in this and other work that he did related to Little House. And I mean, he could just knock your socks off every time he was in front of the camera. He was just extraordinary, really, truly extraordinary. So we have a situation where, let's set this up for people.
Okay.
So it is at the Ingalls farm. This opens up with the family preparing for an anniversary dinner. So Mary has hung something that looks like that could have been gotten at parties for us.
Did she go to Party Center? Yeah. Where did she get that?
Happy anniversary, Ma and Pa, on the front door.
Very crafty. She's very crafty.
Yeah, very
So
very
crafty.
crafty. I'm
So
sure
good
that
at these
kind of
things,
thing
yeah.
happened, but it looked so contemporary in a sense. But anyway, but fun with the colors and all that. They come in the house. Everyone's busy, so Laura's setting the table, and Carrie is spilling the flowers, and
Carrie's a mess again in this. Carrie's a mess.
Yep. Oh, Carrie. They're getting ready for the big anniversary dinner, and of course, Pa's away.
Pa's away, and apparently seeming to be running late, and everybody is hungry.
Especially Carrie.
Carrie whines about it. She sure
Great.
Out on the road, we discover right away, unless there's something else we want to fill in there, out on the road right away, we discover that Pa is in fact in a bit of a pickle on the road, and he is attempting to use the horses to raise the wagon, which seems to have a broken axle, but it's not broken. It's described as a broken wagon wheel. Raise it. It doesn't work. Pa's really in a mess, and we know we're in for something.
Have you ever been more grateful to have a car jack in your life watching this scene with him trying to hoist the wagon up? Wagon wheel? My God, if there was ever a reason to be glad to live now and not then, that would be one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, true enough. I mean, something you never, my recollection is, and all that, of course, what we actually had in the backs of wagons and what was actually maybe always in the back of a real wagon, we just don't know. But the fact that a jack would have been something really, really handy to have, who knows if that was...
Who knows?
We don't know if that was standard equipment inside a wagon. Something tells me it wasn't, because it would have been weight that would have been a hindrance to horses who had to pull these wagons. Right. So I think it's something, people just rolled the dice and took their chances. And this was one that was not a great chance to have taken.
You probably had thicker ropes, because as soon as you was doing it right away, clever idea to use the horses to pull it out. Bad idea to use that little itty bitty flimsy rope. What are you thinking, dude?
Yeah.
Sure enough, it breaks.
Yeah, no, it's true. You could hear it stretching and snapping before it did. You knew it was coming. No question about it. So, all right. So now we're back in the little house. It's night. Laura worries that something might have happened to Pa. Ma assures them that everything's fine.
Harry says,
And she
"I
says the
didn't
key
wait."
line, not the first time I've waited for your pod. That sets everything up.
Segue. Do-do-do-do,
Yes.
do-do-do-do.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I
Also,
just had
she's
to
very not concerned that it's night and her husband has not shown up on the prairie, which is
He
odd
could have
to
been
me.
killed.
But
He could have been killed.
We're
Okay,
serving the
wagon
story.
and carriage jacks. It exists. Wagon and carriage jacks. Yes, there is such a thing as a jack for your wagon or your carriage.
Well, Pa did
But
not have
yes,
one.
it's a large piece of ungainly looking equipment made out of wood, and it looks like it would take a couple of people.
Yeah, you wouldn't have carried it with you. while
No,
you were
it does. It
traveling.
looks
Yeah.
like someone would come and have gotten you. And, yeah.
Right. You would have called AAA and it would have
There you go.
shown up with a 4-horse team and and 6 guys on the wagon to jack up your Conestoga and
Right.
fix the wheel. Yeah.
Okay.
On the
So
prairie.
perfect segue into
Yeah.
story time, flashback time, which
Yes.
we love.
Yes.
And
Now it's a little goofy. I thought it was getting a little sitcom-y right before the whole flashback because it was like, and then what happened, Mom? And I was like, oh, good.
yes.
Here we go.
definitely setting
Well,
up
okay,
the
but you have to
flashback.
get there and you have to get there quickly.
They have to get there. And
Yeah.
the house that they're in the flashback, wasn't that the house that Mr. Edwards was in?
Why not?
The house is very
That was
familiar.
in the big woods. It was the house that Mr. Edwards was
Oh,
in. when-
yes. Okay. You're talking about the house up in, that house
out in the woods.
up in
The
Sonora
flashback, yeah.
was used many, many times.
Yeah, it was like,
Many
I know this house. We
Yeah.
had this house in the other
Yes, we've
episode.
seen this
Yes.
house many times.
That was the Sonora house that got used a lot. There it is, and it's the
Yeah.
was it the Ingalls house or the Quiners house? Because we meet
that was that was the Holbrook house
the whole book.
in this particular episode.
So
They were
no, because I don't know these things because I'm a TV Little House person. I'm not. I know, blasphemy. I want to know
Tragedy.
how
Carolyn's
accurate this all was. So we flash back now. This is Ma is a little girl. She's 12 years old. We see her on her farm with her family, and we see a wagon pulling up, and it's the Ingalls family who have just moved in to the prairie, I suppose. Where is this? Do we know where this is? Ma does
we
say where it is.
really
Wisconsin. It's
don't
somewhere.
know where
Wisconsin?
it is.
It's
But it should be
somewhere in
Wisconsin.
because obviously Charles Ingalls was born in Cuba, New York. Now this is where I check because I'm going, oh, this is all a mess.
I know. I was going to say, what is
They were in New
historically
York.
accurate about
They
the family
did
members?
move to Wisconsin. It is a little vague about what year they moved to Wisconsin. Caroline, of course, was born in Wisconsin in a town somewhere outside Milwaukee. And they did meet in Wisconsin, but not when they were 12, much later as teenagers, and then did hit it off. So they're making it really cute that they were neighbors when they're kids.
Yeah.
The families were this close. It's multiple brothers and sisters of Ingalls. They married each other. Like everybody married each other.
Right.
One Carolyn's sister married one of his brothers. Her brother married one of his sisters. There were like 3 Ingalls Quiner couples at least in this grouping. So that's totally a thing.
Wow.
And but his family did move from New York to Wisconsin, but it's not quite then.
I wonder.
I just don't think that we've talked about this many times. I think, Michael was not concerned about this kind of accuracy at all.
Yeah.
It was not this. It did not concern him in the stories he was trying to tell. And the stories, it's always challenging because you can lay these stories against history and then you can start asking questions. I believe that Michael's thought was the television audience is the television audience.
Yeah.
Whether they may not know this material at all, they may not care about any of it. They just want to see a good story. And he gave people good stories that worked on their own terms.
Right.
Always worked on their own terms. They were not dependent upon, not dependent on the history particularly at all.
And it would have been crazy because both the Ingalls family and the Quiner Holbrook family had 7 kids each. There were 7 kids. There would have been wagons of children and extras. Let's just say there's only 2 or 3 other children.
So that was my other question. Like, what's the historical accuracy of the siblings, of the parents, of their names?
They had the names right.
The name Lansford Ingalls is accurate.
Okay.
And Polly, the sister, that's all dead on.
And Laura was the mother.
And I think Peter as well. I think that's
Peter Ingalls.
Yes.
The mother was named Laura. He named Laura after his mom. But there were like 8,000 children as opposed to the 2 or 3 cute kids. Also, they left out Carolyn's whole story because she's a Quiner in this, and was she a Holbrook yet? She was born a Quiner, and Mr. Quiner died tragically in a horrible shipping accident on Lake Michigan. And it was a disaster, and the ship and it scarred her for life. And then her mother remarried. Now she really liked the stepdad. That didn't go badly. That went well. Mr. Holbrook was great and took them in and married her, and so he was fine. But her father died horribly when she was really young. So she was a Quiner and she was a Holbrook. So they're just going to go, she's a Quiner, and we're not going to talk about the dead dad in this one at all.
In the episode, it makes me think about it. We find out that Mr. Holbrook is off in the field working when we first meet him. We never see him in the entire episode, do we?
No, because we're not going there. Because is it before Mr. Quiner died? Is it him or is it Mr. Holbrook? We don't know.
The geography of yes. Obviously, Mr. Quiner's gone. It is Mr. Holbrook.
It's Mr. Holbrook, okay.
Yeah, but he's in the fields working when the Ingalls arrive. Oh, don't disturb him. We'll be on our way. And we never see him. There were certainly opportunities at the several dances that they did at the park. We could have seen a father. I don't think we ever did.
And I don't think Mr. Holbrook was a farmer at that. But whatever.
Doesn't matter.
I wonder if because I listen. We know Michael Landon didn't do these under total historical accuracy, but then it makes me go, well, did he know enough that there was a Holbrook and a Quiner and
I'm sure
and not wanted to go there, and that was the reason why the father wasn't there?
Complicated. It was tragic and horrible.
So you think he knew the historical reality of what her father was and was like, we're just not going to go there. We don't need to have him in the episode.
Yeah, no, exactly. This character is not necessary to tell this story. I think that's we don't have to hire somebody to do this because it's not really relevant to the story we're telling.
This story. We're focusing on these 2 kids.
I think that's how
we don't need their 4 other
works.
brothers and sisters or 8 other brothers and sisters between it. No, it's just it's these 2 kids. We really we only need one. We needed the older brother to be like in the plot as his protect. Yeah, that's it. We didn't actually need anybody else.
I want to bring up the arrival of Lansford Ingalls, played by Nicholas Coster.
Also, perfect casting because Michael Landon looks like him. Like there is a resemblance.
They gave him the dimples and
there was something about the nose and the mouth, and you didn't have to imagine that Charles Michael Landon came from this man. It's totally great casting.
And this guy's resume. Yes.
I think, and I just want to say, I think Nicholas Coster's a terrific actor. He did a lot of work. I mean, Nicholas Coster certainly worked in a lot of different areas, from features to prime time to soap operas. He had been in front of the camera a lot, doing different things. And he has
in London, darling, Radha.
Yes, exactly. And he was in All the President's Men very briefly in the very beginning of the movie. He was terrific in that, playing a country club attorney type that Robert Redford questions during the indictment of the Watergate burglars. He's just terrific. And he's got a scene that comes later in the episode that I just think is killer.
Too.
So terrific. I just think this was great. A great casting choice.
Yes.
I don't have a sense of the mother here, of Laura Ingalls. I don't know as much about her, but I used to watch Nicholas Coster on Santa Barbara all the time, and he did the soap. He did 599 episodes of Santa Barbara.
I forgot all about that show. Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Also, Prairie tie-in. Nicholas Costa was also in Lessons in Chemistry.
He was.
He's on his bio. Let me see. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Nicholas, because I was just looking. Mr. Coster. Yes, there's very handsome. All his pictures. Very, very, very handsome man. And he only died in 2023, so he was cranking it out till very, very recently. He did not stop working.
Wow.
Absolutely. And one of the things he did in 2023 was Lessons in Chemistry, which also stars a little girl named Alice Halsey, who is
Laura and the new Laura Ingalls.
Right. Interesting.
Always 1 degree of separation from Prairie.
Yeah, that's
always,
fun.
always. Yeah. But
That's
he's
pretty cool.
brilliant. He's in everything. And then what's her name? Virginia Kaiser is the Charlotte Holbrook, Caroline's mom. She was on Max Headroom of all things, and Days of Our Lives, and a whole bunch of stuff.
She was barely in this episode. I mean, we saw her basically it was like, oh, that's what his mother looks like, and that was it. The father, his father, and Carolyn's mother were the parental sort of figures.
Yes, the strong presences in the episode, certainly.
And perfect casting. You believe that. Of course.
Yes.
Now, speaking of perfect casting, we are introduced to young Carolyn, who somehow nails every single one of her mannerisms and vocal qualities. I don't know how this little girl did this, but
because it's Katy.
It is.
There was a rhythm. I agree with you.
My
she
gosh.
had a rhythm.
Just the way she held her face, the way she just really must have studied Karen.
There was a stillness. I think she had a wonderful stillness that Karen has.
Agreed.
There was dignity. There was a presence about her that was just lovely. And, and here was an example of how little girls are so far ahead of little boys. Because when young Charles comes off the back of the wagon,
and we see little Matthew and go, there he is, there's my guy.
It's so cute. It's the cutest little boy.
Oh my God, the best reveal ever is seeing little Matthew Labyorteaux come around from that wagon as little Charles.
Well, yeah, and he's just, and what's so amazing about it is he has this sort of like, I don't want to be here. What is going on here? Why do I have to talk to anybody kind of vibe? And it doesn't feel, as we talked about before early, it never feels actory with Matt. It just feels like he's so dialed in.
Yep.
He was just so terrific.
Yep.
Now, did anybody have a little trouble with the idea of believing that Charles Ingalls as played by Michael Landon, not just Charles in the books, but Charles by play, was shy, pathologically shy as a child? So you gotta go, really?
Here's what I think. I totally buy it. Like, I think that's part of the reason why I love this episode so much is because the depiction of small Charles Ingalls, right? Is so accurate of how so many little boys are at that age.
Awkward and sort of uncomfortable.
And like haven't come out of their shell yet and really want to, but aren't comfortable yet. And he's tiny, physically tiny, and just, I have a son, so I understand also living with one, but I don't know. I totally believed it. And it actually made me love Michael Landon even more as adult Charles Ingalls, knowing that what he was as a kid and what he developed into. And part of what he developed into is because, according to this fictional story, is because you see what he got from this relationship with this little girl starting at such a young age.
He had to be. But then the idea that Michael Landon's version of Charles was shy as a kid, when we bring up the idea that I was shy as a kid.
I know. I was about to say, you were quite shy.
Right. So is this the idea that, Charles, when he was a child, was so shy and awkward, he could hardly even look at anybody or talk to anybody? Oh, I'm a big dummy. Because I'm a dummy. That
actual moment was a little more self-possessed. I mean, he came right out out and said that,
Yeah.
he was
I'm
making
a
a
dummy,
point. I mean, I'm
but-
not interested. Leave me alone. I'm a dummy.
Because I'm a big dummy. Who says
Yeah,
my
yeah,
brother?
yeah.
My
But
very
we're
matter of
jumping-
factly,
yeah.
my brother has told me that I'm a dummy and I should come over here and tell you this. I mean, but the idea that, but yes, when you think of people like, well, if I've talked about Bette Midler and various performers who were shy as kids, and they were my role models to get unshy and become this annoying, obnoxious person. It sometimes it works out, you know.
Well, so
it's a
I
nice
also
twist.
think puberty does things.
Of
to
course.
people. I mean, I know.
Of course.
I know kids who were total extroverts and huge personalities, and then puberty hit, and they went in. I mean, completely changed. And then I know kids where it was the opposite. They were so shy, and then puberty, and all of a sudden they came out of their shells. Allison, what was it for you? Like, was it a conscious decision, or was it just you grew up and it just changed?
It was a conscious decision because I kind of had to. It was during like the
wild.
first year of Little House because I was shy. And so, my next thing you know, my agent is like calling my parents going, is she okay? Because she's so shy on the set. Is she
Wow.
being aloof? Because remember also there was the vicious pit bull match like competition between child actors and the stage parents. So any possible thing that another stage mother could say there was something wrong to try to like get you. Yeah, this was a thing. So the rumors were going back and I was like, what the heck? And so my parents were like, I don't know what you're going to do, but I guess you're going to have to find a way to be, or pretend to be, more outgoing in some fashion, whatever. I remember that was the line my mother said, maybe you could wear a hat. And so she was so helpful.
Hats can work wonders.
Yes, hat! You're cute, a little baseball cap. And I did. I wore a hat. I did Fake It Till You Make It at 12.
Yeah,
And
right.
I thought, well, I can't go on like this. And I don't really like being shy. It's not very much fun. And you can't do things you want to do. And then clearly, if I'm going to work like a regular full-time job with people, I got to pull it together somehow. And I started, and then I did. I was reading about all these people going, well, Bette Midler? Bette Midler's not shy. How is Bette Midler shy? And then through my teens, I saw that and I thought, okay, these people found their way out of this.
Yeah.
There clearly is a cure somehow. And I gradually, and then I took up stand-up comedy at 15, and that'll learn you.
I mean, if that doesn't develop a tough skin,
Boom!
I mean, what does? I mean, that's got to be one of the most,
Vulnerable.
I mean, my God, soul-crushing
Vulnerable.
experiences. If that doesn't go well, that could be so. I don't know what. Candidly, I mean, I've never been quite sure. Yes, I understand the desire to be funny, but when you go into that, you have to somehow get yourself into that situation. You have to watch people getting up in front of a stage, and you have to have seen somebody early on in their game absolutely die in front of an audience. And what does that feel like? And when you can watch that and say, "Oh, I think I'd like to try that."
Worse, have someone do that and you're next.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, go,
Right.
carry on. Yes. Okay. Hi.
you're up, kid.
You're up.
Wow.
I would say better to go after someone that's crashed than someone that's
Than someone who's destroyed the room.
Or
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they've totally killed, and then you're like,
been killed.
Now I'm screwed.
Yeah. And
no,
Oh,
all
it's
very
good.
Anyway, all back to
Yes. Oh, back to
Little
the
Charles,
episode. Yeah.
which is that I believed
Charles.
it. I believed
Yeah.
this
Poor
story that
Charles.
this kid was shy and awkward and painfully awkward and little and hadn't grown into
And so
himself
cute.
yet or his body yet, which is also part of the charm of the whole thing. It's just
But
how
Katy
little they
Kurtzman-
are.
Katy Kurtzman's a genius, and yes, she did. You did go, wait, she's Karen, she's Carolyn, she's doing Karen. Oh my God. But remember, this is the girl that comes back later as Anna the stuttering girl, a complete other person, like she turned into somebody else.
Yes.
And that's not that far apart. And
Yeah.
she was literally this other person. She's Anna the stuttering girl.
I read a little bit about her as we were just yesterday. I was writing this up, and she had a really good reputation as a youthful actress, of being someone who was capable of wading into emotionally complex roles and excelling in that space.
Huge risk.
So clearly she was very, very capable.
Yeah.
You just see it.
Yeah.
You see it in her face, how capable she is.
Yeah, she's-
her eyes,
she's really
there is
lovely.
knowledge in those eyes.
Yeah,
And it was perfect for this. absolutely
Super
perfect.
young, just super young, and then she later, which when she was on what hotel and all the, she was on a bunch of
She
stuff.
did all those shows.
Like a
Yeah,
fiend.
did
She
all
worked,
those
yeah,
shows.
yeah. She did
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, oh my God, she was so good.
So she's so let's see. We're sort of jumping in and out of scenes here,
the
but
gist of it is that everyone seems to think that, oh, she's got eyes for you and you've got eyes for her, but both of them are awkward, and little
Yes.
Charles keeps doing things that she does not understand, like
yes,
make silly faces to
her mother says boys act silly and standoffish when they like a girl.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
Yeah, which is absolutely
True.
Yeah.
And at first I felt bad, like the mom is saying, yes, excuse all this completely ridiculous behavior. You know how boys are. But in this case,
it
she's
was
not
true.
lying.
No, she's not
lying. It's
Yeah.
And if you're someone like me who likes the shy boys, it's more of a turn on.
So well, you would have and I think she's sort of, that's where she is.
You're right.
That's, I mean, she sees this awkwardness, but she sees something else underneath all that.
Yes.
That's sort of fun.
Yeah.
So, boys are standoffish. We come back to the little house after that. Ma's catching up girls on her story. Ma said, he liked me. Time for nightgowns. Out in the country, Charles is under a wagon. The rain starts. It's going to be a long night.
Yes.
End of Act 1.
Now, okay, here we go. Ready? I'm going to tie this. No, this is good. Okay, so we've established in this episode that we're now doing some flashbacks, and they happen in segments, right? And the next segment,
Yes.
we're going to have another flashback for,
Yes.
the next part. So it got me thinking, and I'm sorry to be bringing it back up,
oh God, here
about the episode we recapped last week, the older brothers. In fact, we didn't even recap it because what was to recap. But Allison had a theory last week that had the older brothers been a flashback episode, it would have worked. And in watching this episode, Allison, you are absolutely right. If the older brother had been set up, let's say Mr. Edwards was babysitting little Carrie and the kids, and while Mom and Pa were away, and they can't go to sleep, and let's tell them a fun story, and he could have made it out. Oh, did you ever hear about the time I was with blah 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 blah, the infamous older brothers, and made up this silly story to sort of entertain the kids. It would have worked. It would have been funny and silly.
I mean, in some ways, Pamela, I think you could have framed that instead of even being told, you could have been at like a town gathering where we're supposed to be outside and the rain starts falling and the day's activities are ruined and we're drawn into a barn and Mr. Edwards starts telling a story.
That's right.
And then, the adults are all there. We're laughing and listening.
Right, he's
and
making it up.
Could have been fun.
That would have worked, and that would have stayed within the prairie world that we know and love.
Yes.
It is so odd they didn't do that. Not to go back to last week's episode. Let's continue forward. I just wanted to say it was very crystal clear watching this one of like why this. Yes, the format really works.
Why this also works, like I said, okay, the other kids are not there. The details of the family are blurry and historically inaccurate. And what about this? Because it's Ma's memory of when she met Pa, and it doesn't have anything to do with any of that.
Right.
Because she's telling a story, and that's not pertinent. So then it makes sense.
Yes. It's also very, very sweet, I'll say, the relationship with Mary and Laura as she's telling these stories. And then later on, it's just Laura. How sweet it is. And let me just say, I watched this episode last night with Margot, my 8-year-old, and she was like in hog heaven watching. She just was like, oh, like the audible exclamations coming out of her mouth and how sweet she thought it was. And she was so excited about it. And then, of course, in the middle of it, she turned to me and she went, how did you and Daddy meet? Will you tell me the story of that? I mean, it's just like... So once again, and I remember watching it as a kid and feeling that exact way, but watching it with my daughter was another reminder of the little minds that are watching this and how this affects them in a very profound way. Very profound that adults might not understand if you didn't watch it when you were a kid.
I'm sure a lot of kids got a lot of questions, or a lot of parents got a lot of questions from kids in watching this episode.
Totally.
How did you and mommy and how did mommy and daddy meet?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that
did,
would be a natural, and that's the kind of conversation that Michael
That's
loved
right.
to
Yes.
have.
Where the families can watch it together. You can talk afterward. I know.
Right.
So lovely.
Exactly. All
And you hope they had nice stories.
I
Yes, you
know.
hope
I
they had
know.
nice
Here I
stories.
am at the bar and it was closed.
Well, we were at the bar, little girl.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Mommy drank too many Jägermeisters.
Oh God. Wow.
These things happen.
God, I can think of a few events I went to years ago with the Jägermeister girls there. It was like, oh my God. I mean, talk about an invitation to get absolutely flattened.
Jägermeister.
I mean, Jägermeister is just like, that's just. No
It's
adult should be
bottled
drinking
poison.
Jägermeister unless you're like in college and an idiot.
Yes, of course.
Because
Yes.
it tastes like reindeer pee. It's the little reindeer in the bottle because I think it's made with reindeer pee because that's what
Oh God. It's
It's the worst
sort of
taste.
my recollection. I haven't tasted it in years, but it's like tastes like licorice, doesn't it? I mean, it has
awful.
sort of
Yes,
a licorice
that's the
flavor.
spice. That's the essence. It's an
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
gross. It's
Yeah,
gross.
Wow.
Anyway,
All
back
right,
to
let's
the
get back to
prairie.
this episode.
Yes.
So Act 2 begins. Maud comes out. She steps out of the house to check the wind. Looks like rain, Laura says. So, okay, because the rain is coming, the storm is coming their direction. Tell us more about Pa. And Mox comes in. Bows are a little unpredictable at that age. Was he your first beau? Well, there was Harold Watson she talks about. So Harold Watson, she introduces here the fly in the ointment
Yes.
that's going to add complication to the sort of the babbling brook that the story is flowing down. So self-important. He was the teacher's son. He had it in for Charles from the beginning. Back to the flashback. Yeah. And now we meet Mr. Watson, Sorrel Book.
That's right. The
was
sheriff from Dukes of Hazzard, baby.
Yes. Yes.
I
mean-
met Sorrelbrook.
Did you?
Met him. I was on a game show. I was on a game show with him. Absolutely the most wonderful, delightful, lovely, intelligent
well,
kind.
that's
The
nice
complete
to
opposite.
hear.
He played all these like evil, stupid,
know.
malevolent, petty, dreadful, ignorant men. That was his stock in trade. He did it all the time, like Dukes of Hazzard. Okay, this man not only was like way cool and super nice, he had a lavish, enormous book collection at home that he was very proud of. An entire library in his house of collections of books, some first editions, and the shelves. And he was very proud of the fact he built all the shelves in his home library himself for his enormous book collection. He was extremely well read. That was his favorite thing, was reading. Extremely well educated, downright intellectual, and played these horrible
Yes.
people.
Yes.
That was his thing. Brilliant actor.
I-
Sorrel was awesome. I was also with the Akron, Ohio Soapbox Derby with him.
Oh, wow.
There was a
Okay.
celebrity thing. A couple of cars were celebrities. He waved the flag, and I was in a car, and it was really silly. But yes, he's
had
awesome.
Dukes-
Lovely, lovely
Had
man.
Dukes of Hazzard started by now in 1978?
Yes. Oh, totally.
Yes.
My
So he was-
sister and
he
I
was a
were
name
obsessed.
guest.
We loved the Dukes of Hazzard, and I look back at it now and go, "Why? What were we?"
Wait
all
a minute. It's
thinking?
1978. Yeah, I think Dukes had started in 1978.
I mean, my sister and I used to roll down the front windows of our parents' car and try and jump in the car seat, like how they did.
Wow.
I'm sure that
Wow.
wasn't a hit. With the
Wow.
Not as easy as it looks, but yeah.
One of our producers, our initial first producers on Gidget, was one of the producers of the Dukes of Hazzard.
You're kidding.
He was a lovely guy named Ralph Riskin. His father had written Lost Horizons, the original Lost Horizons.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They had a lot of fun on that show.
Yeah.
They went through more Dodge Chargers than
I bet.
they hunted down every Dodge Charger in America and fixed it up and painted it.
Such a
And they
weird-
just I think they
What a
destroyed 2 or
strange
3 cars an
phenomenon.
episode.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
of Hazzard was immediately after this episode. This episode was aired in January 78.
Oh,
Dukes
wow.
of Hazzard started in 1979.
Okay.
Did he get high? Was it this? Was it this? Guess the job.
I didn't realize
Give
that.
credit
Just-
where credit
I
is
did
due.
not
Of
know. I
course
thought
it was this.
like right when it started. Dukes of Hazzard started in 79, so he would have started filming it like that summer after this.
My apologies.
This
on
could have
that
been it.
to the
This
Dukes
perhaps this is how he got the job. I don't know. It's so insane.
Well,
Dukes of
he
Hazzard.
clearly played very
1979.
broad characters,
Yes.
and they populated that Hazard County world with really just buffoons and buffoons and idiots and good old boys, and they had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They had a lot. Of
Yes.
It was a fun, silly show, and Sorrel is just,
And
he was
he's
the best.
perfect as a very abusive teacher in this episode,
Yes,
who just
yes.
beats the crap out of little Charles Ingalls as often as he can, which is
And
really
targets
rough.
him as the kid in the room that he's going to pick on the
It's
most.
just really awful. And little Harold is his son, who's also just a little monster.
Now that casting, how that little boy occurred, and how Mr. Watson occurred as Sorrel Brooke played him, didn't sort of seem like the same family to me.
No,
this
it
was
wasn't
like,
me either. Except for
yeah,
the bad
but it doesn't
behavior.
matter. The vibe was, I mean, they got it done, but it just didn't feel like this was this man's son.
Yeah, I agree
Maybe
with
he
that.
was his stepson. He married a younger woman with a kid. I don't know.
That's
But
it.
that creepy little boy.
He was in
got to be creepy
Winoka
because
episodes.
when they moved to Winoka, where they meet Albert, when he's suddenly Albert now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Standish, the horrible man who runs the hotel, his annoying, horrid, spoiled little brat is played by the same child.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Fascinating.
Great.
Perfect.
Perfect, kid. Two little
So-
jerks he played.
Little jerks, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously Mr. Watson, as we established right away, that Mr. Watson is an extreme disciplinarian, that he's a bit of a bully, that he's got a thing about him with a kid that feels vulnerable and weak, or vulnerable, and he goes right after young Charles, and so it creates it creates tension. I loved the shot at the end of the confrontation when Charles yells back, my name's Charles Ingalls. He sits down and there's this high angle shot he looks so small, sitting there in this seat with this high angle shot looking down. That's I'm not sure whether it was Buzz or Ted who shot this, but that's the kind of thing that got done on Little House all the time. You would create that moment to magnify or amplify what we're supposed to be feeling. And that high angle shot making Charles look tiny and small and vulnerable in this was a really great idea.
So he's really beating little Charles Ingalls.
Yes.
And
So the
in
next scene is
meantime-
right. Caroline listening as Charles gets spanked.
Right.
A spanking sound was, what do we think that spanking sound was? I mean, that didn't feel like,
Didn't feel like
I
a
don't know.
belt. It felt like there was padding, certainly, somehow.
It was usually like a big stick, a ruler or something, wasn't it?
Well, that's what he did it with.
that's-
It's like it was more than a switch. It was like yeah.
I don't know. The sound
Yeah.
effect was not, interesting.
But it was effective in that you knew that there was impact.
Yeah.
You could hear it, and he didn't make a peep. He
was screaming.
was stoical about it. And then we get after the beating, then we get Harold, who's wanting to continue his flirtation with Caroline, and she doesn't want to have lunch with him, and you feel sorry for that guy, and then Charles comes out rubbing his behind. His brother tries to console him. No thanks, I don't want anything to eat. And how's your deportment feel? Harold asks.
That was mean.
Yeah, how does your deportment
Harold
feel?
literally starts taunting him after he
Yeah.
receives a beating from his own
Right,
father.
right,
It's really
Which is
awful.
Yeah,
Because does he beat that son? Does the son get beaten at
And
home?
then he said
talk about it?
one thing too many, and then Charles comes and then little Charles finally has enough and beats him
Yeah.
up.
Right.
And
Just
then he gets
and
more
you
trouble.
see, Matt has this really nice term where he's turning the other cheek, and then he decides at that moment that he's not turning the other cheek. This is, a wonderful. These are lessons that kids. There's a point when you're a kid, and I think they really did this well here. There's a point when you're a kid where you have to stand up for yourself, and
it's so scary.
it is scary, and yet. Young Charles with an older brother, he's got to stand up for himself. There's where you don't take it anymore. And he wants to avoid it, but he's going to step in when the push gets too hard. And now they're scuffling and they're on the floor and they're on the ground rather. And Mr. Watson comes out and pulls them off and starts to beat Charles. And no, it wasn't his fault. And he knows a troublemaker when he sees one. And, if we need to have any more lessons in deportment, I will administer them.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
Brutal.
and then so the story is progressing now. They're on the road. Charles and Peter are talking. Are you going to tell Pa? No, but our sister probably will. Will he thrash me too?
Probably.
They may. I think based on this father, I don't think so.
No.
But there'll be some good conversation about it. They cut to another angle across, and there's Harold trying to take Caroline's books so he can carry them, and she doesn't want him to carry her books.
He's such a
Charles
little
rushes
jerky.
in. What's that?
He's just such a little jerk weighing all of 65
Really
pounds.
creepy.
I mean, he's only so little. I'm like, what? These little twerps who have nothing, trying to be big, trying to mishandle women and other boys.
Butt out Ingalls, he says. And Charles says one of the best lines in the episode, I'll butt you into next week, which I think is a great line. You're a troublemaker. Your father's full of applesauce. You're causing trouble. You're going to get out of here. Are you going to get out of here, or do I come ramming and thumping? Charles says.
With this
I'm going to tell my paw on you. And he does this whole thing. Yeah, well, like a bull, he tips his head down and sort of works his fists. It's a fun little moment.
It's a sweet scene.
Yeah, it is. And that kid runs away, and then he becomes, so the adrenaline's all worked up, and as soon as Harold runs away, Charles reverts back. He is this awkward little boy again.
Because no 11, 12-year-old actually knows how to act with a girl, period. No. No way. So when, after he's done this very chivalrous thing, she really appreciates, she thanks him. And, it's very romantic.
And I was just trying to finish something he started earlier.
Right. She was like, thank you for defending me. And he was like, well, actually, I was just trying to finish something else. And then she starts little putting on the move, saying, well, you can carry my books if you'd like, which is bold move, Carolyn.
Okay, thirsty girls of Walnut Grove. Thirsty girls of
thirsty.
Walnut Grove strike again.
These thirsty girls on the prairie.
I was thinking about that because I remember school dances in like junior high, middle school. 11, 12-year-old boys, they sort of almost kind of start liking girls-ish then, but they don't know how to say it.
Right.
It's another year or two before they go, I like girls and I wish to pursue this
I
girl.
mean,
That has not happened yet.
Some boys are ready to go by 11, 12. That's for sure.
Yes, I watched that around me.
Yeah.
That was not me, but I remember watching
They'll just stand there at the school. They all just stood in the corner.
Yes.
It's like, and said, you're just, oh my God, I didn't know these kids this age, like getting a boy to the dance. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Yes. So she's very bold. Anyway, so he's like, whoops, gotta go. He cannot handle it. He leaves. And she's, again, left with like, what is up with
what is wrong with him? So Peter and Charles are walking, and
big ups to Peter.
Peter says, she's sweet on you.
I know. Peter's like the older brother we all want. He's great.
I'm surprised that Peter wouldn't have had some interest in, in young Caroline.
I know. Well, not.
Well, he's probably already got a girlfriend.
That's true.
I mean,
maybe.
He's much older.
We don't see that, but maybe.
Yeah, he might.
And so she's sweet on you. She is not. He's pushing back. He can't deal with that. I saw her making cow eyes at you and you made them at her too.
eyes.
Take that back. He says, this is such a
Little
young,
boy.
we're all so terrified of someone seeing that we have some affection for some, as a young boy, you are scared to death of having that pinned on you by your peers, your brother, your whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very threatening to have that accusation made. Yeah. Charles has a girlfriend. Charles had, and then Charles chases him away.
It's so sweet. It's so accurate how siblings are at that time. It's very, very sweet.
Yeah, yeah. So cut to, now we're back on the Ingalls farm. We watch Caroline approaching the house. We hear a violin, not a fiddle, not in fiddle style, but we hear a violin playing. She stands by the window. She watches Charles. We don't see Charles playing, but
We see him
she's watching
holding
him.
the fiddle,
Yes.
the violin.
I think after the fact, or did we see him through the window?
After the fact, when she comes to the house. Yeah.
Peter grabs her sort of in a moment, like a horror
embarrassing.
film moment, actually. Gotcha.
Jump scare.
We got a spy here, which is sort of an interesting thing for him to say. And then she comes in. I just heard the music and wanted to see who was playing. And, you heard it from across the county kind of thing. So
He caught her.
she's there. So we're led to believe that she's advancing that interest.
And this is the first time it gets almost historically accurate, because the story is, indeed, Charles played the fiddle and they were older when they met, teens, but neighbors, that he played the fiddle at like dances when they'd have the sugaring off dance, all that stuff in the big woods of the maple.
Sure.
That was the kind of thing where Charles would play the fiddle, and that she did, as a young girl, find him, obviously he was very attractive. He was a good looking man. Even the Charles of the
He was a
books,
rock star.
He was a rock star. He was the hot guy with a guitar at the party. That's what he was. He was the hot guy with the guitar
Playing
at
a
the party.
musical
And
instrument will
he
seal
loved
the deal every
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's historically accurate. He played the fiddle, and he was fun, and he was mischievous, and he was cute, and had big, apparently historically big blue eyes. And Caroline did find him attractive, and that's where. And apparently, the asking him to stuff, that there's some stories that's historically accurate.
Really?
That she asked him to the dance because he didn't get it quite. That it was. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Very good. And so Mother Laura invites Caroline to stay for a while and have donuts and milk, and then says that Charles will walk her home, which he looks sort of horrified at that idea. Caroline looks like mission accomplished. This is just what I was looking for. Cut to the countryside as they're walking home. They talk about playing the violin. He learned when he was 5. Now he's 12. No wonder you play so well. You should play at the school in June. I can't do that. Old man Watson. How I hate that guy. Everybody hates him, especially the way he picks on you. I'd like to fix his goose for him, says Caroline.
Fix his goose.
Yeah. Me too. What would you do? I don't know. Well, and then so we leave that idea alone. Are you coming to the Berry Festival
A lot
on
of
Saturday?
festivals in this town.
Yeah, a lot of festivals.
A lot of
The Berry
festivals in this
Festival,
town,
right?
yeah.
Everything's a festival.
Yeah.
And at this festival, she says girls make the lunches for the boys that they like.
Thirsty.
He's so forward. It's wild. Like, I would have never had the nerve to do any of this. I don't think I
This show
would.
has a history of aggressive girls and women pursuing these boys.
Yes.
It's quite something.
This is what settled the West, everybody.
It's
This is
no
what
way
settled
it got settled.
The West would not have been settled without thirsty girls.
Without the thirsty girls.
These women going, hey, we're going to get
You know what?
married. we're
I'm
gonna
not
have
mad
some
at it.
kids."
I'm not mad about it because at least they wanted it. They chose it. They were not. It was not thrust upon them. So there we go.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So she's very forward again, and she says, "Would you like me to make lunch for us?" And he nods yes. And she says, "Okay, I'm going to mark it. I'll put this yellow ribbon that she's wearing in her hair on it, so you know that this is ours." And they have a close exchange.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Did you ever, I remember in I think it was 6th grade, we did a thing where where you drew names
Oh God.
and you made a lunch. Everybody did this, so it was a lunch exchange that happened.
No.
And so
I've never had
we
that.
did this. We did this in sixth grade, and I mean, I don't remember whose name I drew, but there was no boy girl thing going on. It was just you drew names,
Everybody.
and so everybody participated. This was far more intentional than that.
Totally.
Yeah, and she explains it so clearly. I mean, it's like doesn't she say, Pamela, when your girl likes somebody, you can make a lunch for them. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
Now
that means she comes right out and says it, so
Says
she's
it.
not hiding at all.
She is.
But that's weird because now we're into the woman go make me a sandwich territory. I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned. The sandwich.
She's choosing to make
It's
a
her idea.
sandwich.
It's her idea. She's
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Very aggressive. Very aggressive.
Now we're back in school, and
Right.
little Charles is once again getting a
Being spanked.
spanking
Yeah.
from this horrific teacher. It's so, honestly, it's really awful. And then
So he comes out, he's embarrassed. Caroline apologizes.
Caroline feels terrible
on behalf of
witnessing it.
everybody. I'm so sorry this happened. And Charles runs away, and Caroline chases after him.
However, cut
Yes.
to Mr.
Yes.
Watson going to the outhouse.
And clearly with serious intention, because he's taking his coat off before
Sure is.
he gets to the outhouse.
Serious session.
Because
Serious.
Sora would think of that. I should take my coat.
Oh, you think that would have been a choice he would have made?
Maybe.
Absolutely. He would have
Yeah, no,
thought
I
of
think
that.
that's actually a really cool choice that he made, and I mean, that's a lot of, interestingly, in the taking the shirt off, the coat off, that's adding a lot of information that's not necessarily
And I
needed.
believe
Correct.
Sorrel Book would have done that. He would have said, I got to take my coat off before I go to the
Okay.
outhouse. This is how this is done.
And then, so young Charles does something then that really ups the ante.
Which we all clap and cheer for at home watching it.
But now we're seeing the real
Charles
yeah,
Ingalls, right.
Yes.
He
Super
takes the rope
Charles.
and he ropes it around the outhouse, so he's locked in the outhouse.
And I believe this moment. I go, okay, now he's coming into his own. This is the Charles Ingalls we
The
know.
practical
Yeah, we
joker,
do this.
Charles Ingalls.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, this guy
yeah.
deserved it. He was just an
Yeah.
absolute monster. So,
Totally.
and then Mr. Watson sees him running away, and is
Yeah,
like, "I'll
Charles
get
Ingalls, you'll suffer
Yes.
for this. Yeah, if I get my hands on you, I'll get my hands on you. I'll get my hands on you no matter where you are. I'm going to hunt you down.
Which is kind of psycho. Kind of psycho.
Yeah.
It's just
I
really
mean,
isn't
this
it, Charles?
guy needs to get his teacher certificate removed ASAP. He should not be with children.
Men were very rarely teachers in that era. It was generally, it was young single women who were the teachers. Men were not generally in the classroom at that stage of our sort of American history development. Maybe, I'm sure there had to be a few, but it wasn't the norm at all.
Well, it's interesting. The two men teachers on Little House on the Prairie, this guy and Mr.
Richard
Applewood.
Basehart.
Mr. Applewood, who is also a monster. And then
Yes.
Anne of Green Gables, the male teacher, was also a monster. Like a gross.
Well, when
guy.
there were male teachers, and originally it was all male teachers, and then by the 1800s, yes, it became a female teacher thing. But when there were male teachers, yes, they were handing out the weapons. That was a thing.
God, so brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back home, and guess who rides into the Ingalls farm?
Yes. Yes.
Go.
Mr. Watson drives up on his carriage. And I have a little detail here that has nothing to do with the scene, but I saw the horse. And this was the horse that we had a horse in our stable of horses that were used on the program. And so this horse had obviously been around for a while, that had a partially, when the horse was younger, another horse had obviously chewed its ear off.
Oh,
So it had sort of a mangled ear. One of its ear, I think its right ear was sort of mangled because horses go for the ears. And it had healed, but it was disfigured. And so you always knew I drove this horse a lot. And it was a really good picture horse. but nonetheless did have this mangled ear. And so Mr. Watson was driving up with the mangled eared horse
that.
on his
But
carriage.
now, okay, the ear makes it obvious, but I want you to say it's like 50 years later you recognized your horse.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is the impact this show had on our lives. That decades later,
Yes.
goes, that's my horse.
Yeah. Certainly one of them. And, I always thought I always noticed this because I realized that, Charles had sort of like the Ferrari of horses, or he had the Cadillac of horses in Walnut Grove, these big, beautiful, tall workhorses, and everybody else drove a sort of a motley collection of horses at times, but they were all terrific at their jobs, which is why they were there. They were not necessarily the most aesthetic horses, other than Charles's team, which was a beautiful matched pair, of beautiful horses. Anyway, Charles is nervous when he sees Lansford talks to Mr. Watson in the distance. Charles is anxious. Lansford and Mr. Watson walk to Charles. Now, this is really a wonderful scene. Pamela, you picked up on this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and Allison. So what do you guys see when you see this scene?
This is what I see. Well, first, let's say what happens. Mr. Watson comes in, tells Charles's father what happened. Charles does not deny it. And so, yes, he deserves to have a punishment. So Mr. Ingalls takes off his belt to give Charles a little beating. But instead of him doing it himself, he passes it to Mr. Watson to do, which
I thought was weird, but hey, it's the 1800s.
But it was also, look, he also knows that Charles did do this thing.
Right.
He
Yes,
did
and
rope Mr.
above
Watson
and
into
beyond.
the outhouse. This was a real thing. This was
And
a
it's
problem.
technically unsafe, could have been dangerous.
So now what we get to see is the question of degrees of punishment.
Right.
He gives his belt to Mr. Watson, and we watch what happens.
And Mr.
with the
Watson
belt.
is disarmed by him handing him the belt to administer
him out.
the punishment. And
Right.
then
Yep,
he
yep,
starts hitting little Charles, and Father Ingalls interjects and stops him.
After three strikes,
three.
that'll
Three.
be enough. Was it 2 or 3?
I think it was 3.
Okay, yeah, I think it's things
that's
go
enough.
in threes. It was 3, and he steps. That'll be enough of that.
Right.
That's all that's needed here. And then the scene gets really interesting.
Then this is
Because
when
right there you
when
separated
Father-
that the father who does the typical 1800s punishment of, yes, I'm going to hit him with belt.
Right.
But he's like, but not for 3 days like this psycho who's beaten him for hours on end. That's not normal. Hello, ding, 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 ding.
Right.
So he confronts Mr. Watson in a very calm, still way, saying that I know how you've been treating him. And Mr. Watson accuses little Charles of, exaggerating it and telling lies. And Father Ingalls says, actually, Charles never said a word about any of this. His brother was the one that told me.
Witnesses,
And
we have
then,
witnesses.
in the calmest, quietest, stillest voice ever says, I'm telling you, if you lay a finger on him without justification, I will thrash you in front of your entire class. Do I make myself clear? And this is when me, as a viewer, goes, and that's why Charles Ingalls grew up to be the man that he became. Because this guy has all the same morals, ethics. He's just grounded and right. And this is why Charles Ingalls became Charles Ingalls, because this father right here.
Yes.
And the foreshadowing of the episode where with Mr. Applewood, please, when Mr. Applewood shows up and Charles comes in and goes, that's enough of that, and breaks up the whole party. And so this is where this all comes from. Yeah.
I love it. He felt like it was as hard for him to say it as it was for Charles to go through all this. He says, I think we're done here after Mr. Watson leaves. We'd all appreciate a little less mischief from you, Mr. Charles, which is sort of a sweet way to put that. More application to your studies. We'll be going to the Berry Festival without you.
Right.
Grounded. You're grounded.
You're
That's
grounded.
what it is.
But
Yeah,
in the kindest way possible, and it's
Yes.
in
Yes.
the kindest way possible, because he does
Yes.
understand why his child did this thing. His child has been
This is,
mistreated.
this is sort of reminiscent of in the Cheaters, the Andy Garvey moment when Andy knows he needs to be spanked and he knows he'll feel better after the fact.
Right.
Charles sort of earned this punishment, but not the others. And I think both father and son are they know,
They're in agreement.
they understand each other.
As his dad says, as Paul Ingalls says, it's the things that are out of proportion. It's like, okay, there was provocation, but you can't do this wackadoo stuff in response. Okay, I get it. There's provocation, defending yourself, but no, you can't lock someone in the outhouse because you're mad at them. And so, we understand the provocation. However, that does not justify what you did, which is completely over the top, locking a guy in an outhouse. So of course you're in trouble and you're grounded. And what did you think was going to happen? Which is more sensible. But he's also like, and you're crazy and beating my kid, and I'm going to come down to school and give you what for.
If you
which is so
misbehave,
Charles.
right?
And that's something that then the Michael Landon Charles totally embodies.
Yeah, so I think that's a very powerful thing that you're both commenting on, is that this is where a man learns the lessons.
That's right.
That define his life.
Yep.
And we get to see Charles is learning this important lesson, which totally defines everything we know about that character throughout the life of the series.
Right. It was really well written.
Yeah, no,
really
well
done.
crafted moment.
And the way he did it also is perfect.
Yes.
And then we're back in time. We're back in the little house, and Ma is
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Yeah, meanwhile, back at the ranch, Ma is now talking to the girl still, recapping the story and saying he never showed up to the berry festival, and she waited and waited, and now it's starting to thunder, and it is way too late. Girls, go to bed. And let's hope Pa is okay and has found shelter.
Yes.
In which he has not. He is in the rain with his broken wagon, far away from home.
Right. We cut to the fixing of the wheel. He's soaked to the bone. He looks up at the rainy sky. End of Act 2.
End of Act 2.
So, end of Act 2.
And we're going to take a little break, and then we will be back and finish I Remember, one of the sweetest episodes ever. All right, we'll be right back.
When you visit Simi Valley, California, you're stepping into the pages of history. Go from the pioneers to the presidents. Explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Throughout the summer, take the Little House 50th Anniversary Tour at Big Sky Movie Ranch. Less than 15 minutes from Los Angeles and 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go to visitsimiValley.com for more information. We are so grateful to visitsimiValley.com for their commitment to presenting the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast.
All right. We're back. Now,
So if you were stuck in the rain and your wagon was really broken and it's 1800s and no AAA, might you have unhitched the horses from it and just ridden one of them home?
Oh, interesting.
Because you could go back and get the wagon the next day.
Now,
Nobody's going to take it. It's just sitting there with a broken wheel. It's not going to go anywhere. Nobody's going to come and steal your wagon.
Maybe it was just
turn
too
off the
unsafe.
horse and go home.
But maybe it was just too unsafe to ride in a downpour
In the storm.
and muddy
No,
road.
I think Allison's right on that.
I was
I
trying
think
to
that's a
give you
very
benefit of
good
the doubt.
point.
Because he's got a horse. He could have ridden home. It wasn't
got
that
two
far.
horses.
It wasn't like miles and miles.
In the
from
older brothers, the week before, we saw Cole Younger riding in on the hitched with the horse completely rigged for pulling. He's riding this horse bareback. There could be something to the
rain all the
storm,
time.
but
He
we've
drove in
seen
the rain.
people ride in the rain before.
I
don't
just
think
in
that's-
disbelief that we're
servicing the plot. He could have taken the horse
Right.
and ridden
Yes,
home. He totally
but
could have.
no,
But
no.
I just can't believe that we had a second callback to the older brothers. But anyway, can't get away from it.
It's stuck in our heads forever.
It is forever. It's a trauma.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back. We're back at Little House. Laura can't sleep. She comes down. It's thundering. It's a terrible storm. She climbs into bed with Ma, and this was so nice because I used to do this with my mommy, and Margot does this with me almost every night.
Yeah.
It's also so sweet. Laura and her are so tender together. It's just lovely. Okay, so back to the story. Flashback again. Where are we?
Laura's worried about Pa.
Right.
I mean, she's worried about Pa. She gets into bed and
Now we're back into the flashback.
Oh, yes, into the flashback.
Story.
So yes, but Ma sets it up by saying she's glad that Charles trapped Mr. Watson in the outhouse, but she wasn't going to tell Charles that. This is like, so she's going to play a little hard to get herself after the disappointment of the Berry Festival.
Yeah, so she's disappointed, and he comes and apologizes to her, and she's like, "No, that's fine. I shared my lunch with Harold. I shared our lunch with Harold.
Our lunch with Harold. Yeah."
And little Charles is trying to feign like he's not interested. It doesn't bother him.
Right.
And then Carolyn feels bad and she says, "No, I didn't share it with Harold. I can't stand to watch him chew even. He's just so gross."
Ew.
Ugh.
So on top of everything else
I
that is
know.
creepy world, he like chews weird with
Gross.
his mouth
What
open.
was was it the Danny DeVito Bette Midler movie? Was it Ruthless People?
Yes.
And I loved Danny DeVito's line. It's reminding me of that. "I hate the way she licks stamps." I mean, that line is always stuck in my head. It's just like when you really loathe somebody, you can hate the way they lick stamps. So she hates the way he chews. I just think that's sort of a funny
But that is something
moment.
you would pick up on someone that you're just disgusted by, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
And then Charles, getting a little maturity here, he gives her a little gift, and it's this pretty beaded necklace. And they're
Job's Tears seeds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was a thing. I mean, they're from Asia, but yes, they were growing them in the U.S. by the 1800s.
Okay.
Oh,
They're
interesting.
originally they were all in Asia as thing, but they did bring them over. It's a kind of grass, a kind of a stalk thing, a grain. But the seeds make great beads and last a really long time.
Yeah, and they're very pretty.
They, in this scene, particularly starting in this moment when she says, "There's something so mature about the way this is handled. Help me with she asks him to help her put on the necklace." The way this is shot, you feel like there's a kiss ready to happen here. That just the angle invites that sense that there's a kiss. Obviously, there is no kiss, but it says, I think the angle suggests that something really beautiful is happening here.
Yes. Well, for me, the perspective was, because I was like, they are too little to actually kiss. Like, they're still too underdeveloped to even, like, they know, and we know what this feels like. We were this age where you have feelings, but you're not sexually mature whatsoever. Right. I mean, it's just not gonna.
There's no gas in the tank.
No, there's no gas in the tank. But the feelings
This is puppy love. This is puppy love.
And for me, it was when she said, "Oh, can you help me?" Because the beads kind of got tangled in her braids. And so he went and reached over and took her braid. And for me, that represented like, this is maybe the first time he's ever touched another girl. And even if it was just her braid, Sure. And so just those first moments of any kind of physical contact, and as innocent as this, and it should be innocent because they are not sexually evolved yet whatsoever. But what that represents is what the future is going to bring for sure. But those first, like, oh, I'm touching her. Like, this is a first touch.
That's we can all think back to those moments. I mean, those are powerful moments in our lives when those initial contacts, as innocent as they are, that's very intimate stuff.
Well, the first time it's like you don't know what it is, but gee, her hair smells nice.
Right.
Yeah, right.
He's pretty.
It's all that.
Even the act of touching someone's hair, or taking a piece of hair, and what was that in The Way We Were? How she takes Hubble and she
yes, and
she takes little, swooping someone's hair like that is a very intimate act. So that's, I mean, it was just very, very sweet, very innocent and lovely. And from there, they walk. There's another dance. There's another shindig happening in the town.
Because they never stop in this town.
This town is rocking and rolling. Lots of shindigs.
Well, now on that walk, they talk about the fact that this is the first gift that either of them had given or received from someone who was not their relative.
Right. Very sweet.
So it is amplifying that sense that we have in the previous scene. They know it.
Yeah.
They know this is something important. As you say, it's benign.
Yes.
But they know it's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway,
now,
Carolyn says there's
the haying dance now,
which sounds awesome. By the way, all the farmers help each other with the haying, and when all the work is done, they have this big barn dance. I mean, Margot and I were like, we want to go to this barn dance. This sounds amazing. So
this is very much sort of an Amish thing, when there's this collective. Well, the Amish did the barn raising thing. I remember in Witness, they had that wonderful sequence where they built all the men came together to build the barn. And then there's this wonderful party afterwards. And we didn't really, that was in the series. There certainly were those moments where the town worked together, but that was not a regular feature of how things
It's in the books. This is because that's the big thing in Little House in the Big Woods, the maple sugar, the sugar.
Yes, right.
And that went on for days, and the old lady dances, and the whole town, they go berserk over the sugaring off dance. That just goes on forever. So, it's these kind of festivals where
they're high on sugar.
You're right. They're all jacked up on maple sugar.
Yeah, which is great. Have you ever had fresh maple? I mean, my God, is that incredible?
You got to get in your parties before winter comes, because then you can't do anything because you're in freaking Minnesota and it's going to be 6 foot drifts of snow.
So she asked him to go to the hang, or let's see, you can see, how does she put it?
She says, Harold Watson already asked if I was
That's right.
partner.
She says she volunteers that Harold already asked, but I told him I was going with someone else. Obtuse Charles, who?
Does not get it. Takes him days to figure out what he's saying.
Charles. Yes.
Disgusted she is. Do I have to say it myself?
And then she asks him, she straight asks him,
will
you
be my partner? I guess so, he says. No, guess so. Yes or no? Yes, gotta go.
Gotta go. And he runs off.
It's very Caroline, where she has to go, Charles, come on, get your focus, Charles.
See, this is, I think, I love this because this is wonderful foreshadowing in after the fact of who Caroline is. And we see that kind of clarity in her. And we see it from the very beginning of the show. I remember in Harvest of Friends when Pa's out plowing on a Sunday and how upset she gets. And she's very she loves him, but she knows what's right and what's wrong. And she wants things to be done properly. So don't guess yes or no. Yes, gotta go.
Gotta go. And he runs off. Yeah. And she's again like, what the?
Yeah.
Why is he running?
Yeah.
Well, he's running because he runs home to tell Peter, help me, I don't know how to dance.
Right.
But the running away, is this where little Laura inherited it from? It wasn't from her ma, it was from her pa, who would freak out and run away when he couldn't handle stuff. That's where Laura Ingalls got it, running over the hill.
Totally.
She freaked out.
All that endurance running was baked into the genes at that point. I mean, a lot of running. And then again, big props to older brother Peter, who then tries to teach little Charles how to dance. And it's a very adorable scene and lots of toes being stepped on, and then ends up with Charles chasing him again. And everyone's doing it, he teaches them in a waltz tempo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're getting that vibe. And that's, I think, probably I'm trying to think of what the first dance was that we all learned. I don't know that it
Was it like probably like the sort of box step?
the box step, the
Step.
the foxtrot, the
Foxtrot, right?
is
Yeah,
what
got
we
that,
all
'cause
learned initially.
I always learned a box step was waltz, and really, there was some in PE in the 70s. Yet there was some square dancing, folk dancing.
I mean,
nonsense.
the fact that we didn't learn anything about taxes, but we learned how to do square dancing is very
Very important that we learned a do-si-do in school.
Well,
But the first time I learned a box step and a waltz and learned to dance was on Little House on the Prairie. We had the spring dance episode, and we all had to make like we could at least dance somewhat. And the two people who'd been Arthur Murray dance instructors, Catherine McGregor and Kevin Hagen, said
everybody.
line up. And Kevin Hagen taught me to
Oh.
box step and do it proper, so I wouldn't be
Nice.
bad in dance.
That's nice. We had cotillion in 8th grade. Where the boys sat up, we learned to dance. We had the couple that came and taught the music, and the boys sat on what we had to learn how to ask the girl to dance and offer our hand, and
God.
Massages.
and of course the guys raced. It was like to be the girl that no one wanted to dance with. What a brutal thing that had to be for those girls, because the girls that were like honey in the room, the guys ran to those girls, and the others sat alone. I mean, what a devastating
So
moment that had to
cruel.
be. It just made me think of that. I hadn't thought about that in years. But boy, talk about sort of social order at work. People, we are hardwired for a certain kind of behavior. I mean, young guys who really weren't, we really weren't being overt about anything at that stage. But once we were told what we were supposed to do,
Yeah.
it was like, zzz, you were beeline to that pretty girl.
And some of these things, although psycho-cotillions, they were kind of weirdly reinforcing a lot of the
Totally.
social order things, some of
Totally.
which weren't very nice.
Yeah.
But you're going to learn how it works in the real world, kid.
That's right.
Make you go to a cotillion. It's like, oh, yikes.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about taxes if you can't get the girl? I mean,
Right.
I mean, really.
Who cares about taxes if you can't do a foursquare box step?
A box step and learn to waltz. I used my waltz training in Sweet 16 when I danced
Sure.
with Melissa at the end of it.
Had to-
And I didn't do the triangle. I did the modified waltz, which was the back and forth, and done step, touch, back step, touch, forward step.
Right.
Very easy,
Yes.
very clean. It's it's very real. It's very waltz looking.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
listen, there's something I think men and women should learn how to dance like ballroom type
Absolutely.
dancing. First of all,
Absolutely.
it is so much fun. It's the
Yeah.
most fun. It's really beautiful, and I think it's a skill that guys should know. They should know how to hold themselves and be that sort of that grounded anchor and know
Yes.
how to lead. And
Yes.
but also taxes are good to know too.
Yes, but I think it's just sort of, to your point. It's really about learning social competence.
It is
It's-
absolutely.
It's just, this is how we're going to get along in the world. It is sort of and these little things become a scale on which we're measured.
Right.
As to how we manage those things.
Right.
And so it does make sense to pay attention. You can hire an accountant to do the taxes,
That is
but
the
no one
truth.
can dance
You're
for
right.
you.
You're right. And who am I to poo-poo any kind of art training in school? I am not. So I'm here for it. Square dancing, not so sure. Ballroom dancing, yes.
Yes,
Because I think
absolutely.
that's actually much more practical than the square dance.
Yeah, no. Square dancing is that's really a performance.
Yeah.
But though that's a very,
Well, and it's
fun when you're at a
Americana,
party
historic.
so you got a good caller and they're telling do-si-do and
Yeah.
take your girl and spin her
Bob's
around.
parents-
That is really fun.
It is.
Bob's
It's really
parents were champion square dancers and traveled all over the country.
fun. Wow.
Okay.
He had the skirts.
All right.
So speaking of square and dancing, so
Right the dance.
Okay.
Uh-oh. His
I
mic
muted
went off. There
myself.
it goes.
You get to
Unmute yourself.
the barn dance, and Here's Caroline waiting.
So
Everyone's dancing her, but she's
thirsty.
waiting for Charles,
She needs
amplifying
Gatorade
that
and some
moment.
coconut water. She's so thirsty. Yes. Give the girl some liquid IV. She's dehydrated. Yes.
So waiting for Charles to arrive. When they get the family Ingalls come in, Charles isn't there. He had to get. So his mother says he had to get his hair right.
He does have the 70s.
Foreshadowing.
He does have the flip. Yeah. He had to go to his.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he had to go to his hairstylist, his $400 haircut in Beverly Hills for sure.
Well, but Michael never let anybody touch his hair.
Yeah.
No hairdresser, none of the hairstylists
so he didn't have
ever
anyone
touched Michael's hair. Ever.
Wow.
No.
They would hand it. They supervise. He'd be in the chair with them.
But he did it.
The thing
He did his own hair.
I find that men have more of an attachment to their hair than women do.
Oh, they're more obsessed
because
about
they're
it.
more, even the bald men are more obsessed with their hair. I think it's because it's their only thing. You know, women have makeup. No, but I mean, like, women have, like, makeup.
It's their only thing.
Oh, they got going? Come on now.
Beauty standard. Do you know what I mean? Like, women have so many other things besides hair. We have the nails, we have the boobs, we have the makeup, we have the heels, we have the clothes, that, like, the cinching in, that, like, all the tricks,
all so much fun to watch.
And
not
so fun to do, but very fun to watch. But the men, really, the hair is the only thing that they do.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's an interesting point.
Makeup.
I mean, look, the coats you wear, the way your stuff, but in terms of our physicality, I mean, okay, it's muscularity and it's hair.
I will tell you, after 25 years of experience being a makeup artist, the men are the ones that have way more hair concerns than the women. Way more.
Oh, that's interesting.
Amazing.
That's interesting.
They're way more. Even the bald guys with the shaved heads. I'm like, you don't have any. What are we worried about? But anyway.
You shave perfect like best.
Interesting. So anyway, so he's not there.
And Harold, little snippy Harold, comes in and says, "Hey, Carolyn, dance with me." And she says, No, I'm saving my dances for Charles. And Harold's like, he's not coming. And she's, how do you know that? And he says, I saw him. He told me. And Carolyn believes this. And she goes to her mother and says, I want to go home. Please let me go home. And her mother allows her to go home and says, okay, you go home. I'll be back. I'm going to stay a little longer, but I will be back soon. So Carolyn heads home.
And that's very Caroline. That's foreshadowing, because that is the person. I'm not going to stay here and be embarrassed.
Be humiliated by someone who's not coming. Right. So the end of the act is she runs into their house crying, rips off the necklace that she was wearing, fade to black, end of Act 3.
Yes. Okay.
So here we go. We come back to Act 4. So Peter's getting some punch. Charles gets his attention. Peter tells him that Caroline went home. Charles explains to Harold how his friend beat him up. He has
a black eye and a fat lip, and he's bruised all over his face.
He looks like he's got lipstick on to me in some way. I mean, it's like there's some kind of coloring on the lip. It looks more color than bloody lip to me.
It looks like he's got a lipstick, but we know he got punched in the mouth.
Yeah, it just looks like he's got bruises as opposed to swelling.
Yeah, he's got a big old shiner.
He's got a bad shiner, bad black eye.
So, all right. So this is now I have a little technical thing here, because this is very unusual for Little House that this happened. So Charles explains how Harold and his friend beat him up, but they're going to get theirs later. Charles runs out of the shot, camera left. He runs, but they drop back, and he runs out of the shot, camera right. So it's like this was a very rare camera direction faux pas. They didn't need the shot of him stepping out. If he had stepped out, he needed to step out camera right. So that then they would drop back and he continues right.
Fascinating.
So this is something that, this is the kind of stuff that rarely do you see those kinds of mistakes.
This goes on the bloopers Facebook page, the Little House bloopers page. Anyone that's running that page.
Blooper weirdos. Yes.
Super weirdos. This is it.
I don't even. Would you call it? Would you call it a blooper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically,
Okay.
technically,
It's a
he ran
mistake.
out this way and he came back that way. It's the wrong way. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Same with,
Exactly.
With like continuity.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all continuity errors.
Right.
Sure.
So a little continuity error. So follow that with Peter, who goes to find Harold and Ike. Got something to show you. What is it? Do you like girls? Yeah.
These horny little thirsty boys
Yeah,
that are like
yeah, thirsty,
10
yeah.
years old.
They cross the barn, go up some stairs, through a closed door, and we're left to wonder what's going to happen now.
We never know, but we know
We
it's
don't know.
something. We know it's something. Peter
Something's
is taking
gonna happen.
care of business. Yeah.
Peter is taking care of business for his brother. And we cut to the Holbrook house, and this is this wonderful, wonderful scene. So I'm going to let the two of you jump into this, but he knocks on the door, and Caroline doesn't want to let him in, and it's just a really sweet thing.
Carolyn is very wise for her age because she's like, he 3 strikes, you're out, and she means it, right? With him. She is not letting him back. So she's like, you will never keep me waiting. And she hasn't opened the door. So he's on the other side of the door. She will not open the door for him. And she's yelling at him, you will never keep me
I
waiting.
don't want to see you ever again, she says.
And he's like, I couldn't help it. Please let me in. I'll show you. And she's like, nope. And Charles is like, fine, then I'll just wait here until your parents get home so that you can finally see me, please.
Please, Caroline, please. Yeah.
So she finally opens the door and she sees his battered face.
So, he has asked, let me in. He doesn't come in. She steps out,
Yes.
which is the right way to have done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's shocked.
And this is foreshadowing because Caroline is very forgiving of Charles. We see as adults. Charles is always screwing something up. We say, oh, he's the perfect Paul, perfect. No, he's not. Every episode, he completely bungles something, but he knows it and always goes,
and admits it.
I did
Right.
it again. I'm so sorry. I
Yes.
don't know what I was thinking. You acted in
Acted
haste.
in haste. Right.
Didn't you, Charles? Yes, I did. Sorry. And Caroline is always forgiving him and going, now, you got to get it together, dear. And this is a running thing. So her going, okay, he got beat up. This is, and taking him back. Classic. This is their
And
relationship.
he says to her, I bet you're ashamed of me. And here's where she has the line, I'll never be ashamed of you, Charles Ingalls. I'll never. So it's like she's foreshadowing. She knows where this is going. She does.
knows
None
he's
of them
good.
know
She knows
how
he's
it's going there, but she knows where this is going.
And she knows he's good at heart. He's not a bad person.
Yeah.
That the little creep, the teacher's son, is
Yes.
a bad person.
Yes. Harold's the bad
Charles
guy.
is not a bad person.
Anybody named Harold has got to have a bit of a problem.
Poor
Yeah.
Harold.
Yeah.
Agreed. And then again, very bold, but she says we can have our own dance right here.
Yes.
We can be alone, and they prefer it that way anyway. So
That's a very romantic,
I know.
wonderful idea that I think would be, God, I mean, that's a beautiful, nervy idea, particularly in that era.
I know.
In that era, the fact
today
that
you could
era,
totally
he's
see
home
that
alone
happening.
and a boy's at the door and can I come in? Well, hell no, you're not coming in. That's why he goes, well, I'll wait till your parents get home because it's 1840.
Right.
What it's like, oh hell no.
Yeah.
So,
It's like 1865 or something.
yeah.
I mean, it's like,
So she's
yeah.
she's
Oh no,
pretty
I'm sorry.
good.
This is way earlier
Yeah.
than that. This is 18.
I
Right.
assumed it was the
Right.
'Cause
They
it's
all look the
1870s
same, but-
and they're grown up with children. Yeah.
Right.
It's so they're I don't know, man. But it's the thing. She again, she's a little pushy. Oh, we could dance. We could totally dance.
Yes, we can
It'd be
dance.
okay.
Yeah. And they, I wrote here in my notes another thirsty prairie girl, but she was thirsty before this moment.
She was.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she's straight away. Soon, love at first sight. I'm
And
telling
Yeah.
who wouldn't be with Matthew Labyorteaux popping out behind that wagon?
Yeah.
Girls fell apart over him and still
And
do.
still
because
do.
he's-
Absolutely.
And they dance this waltz. They dance a waltz that only they can hear
I know.
in their. Although we hear it too because David's playing it for us, but it's what's in their head that we're hearing. And all is well. I just finished. My note was lucky Charles.
Yeah, man.
Lucky
Finally,
Charles.
very lucky because not
Yeah.
everybody was going to take him on. Yeah, he got her. He scores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So now we're back. So now we're back to real
Back
time.
to the
and-
ranch.
back to the
Caroline's-
ranch, to the prairie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laura
and
has
so
fallen
Laura,
asleep.
right. No, well, actually, Laura's still awake. She looks like she's asleep, but Caroline's still talking to Laura. And Laura asks about how Pa reacted to the broken beads.
Oh, right.
And Caroline says wisely, I never told him. I restrung them. I found what was left that I could find. I restrung them and I still got them. And she takes them out for Laura. I love in so many of these scenes, again, there's such a sense of reality in this. Nobody is rushing here to get to the bed, to the beads, to get them out in a certain amount of you just feel like this is happening in its own good time. The pacing of this is so gentle and so sweet and, and warm. She gets out the beads. Here they are. And she keeps them to remind me never to make hasty judgments about Charles. And that's lovely. So in all those times when he acts in haste, it's the beads that remind her.
Right. And that's why she's so patient with it, which you have to be, because Charles is impulsive. He's very impulsive and is always getting in some kind of trouble.
Yes.
So that's her like, okay, he'll calm down in a couple hours.
And I just want to say that bench in her bedroom must be like the Mary Poppins bench, because that's where everything is stored, right? Like
everything
is in that bench. That's the only storage they have.
It's the bottomless Jack Benny closet.
Totally the Mary Poppins bag of a bench. Yeah.
Everything's in there. And now, yes.
So she turns around after talking about the beads, and Laura is fast asleep at that point. Good. So Laura's out of the way for this moment where the wagon is heard in the distance. She rushes out, hugs him. Karen's got these red slippers on as she ran out, and I wonder if that was like. I'm just trying to figure what were those slippers? Yeah.
They were like red open toe, like.
Right.
I thought it was so strange she had those slippers.
An open toe. Were those her slippers? And somehow this
Well,
got by everybody?
It was wardrobe. It was wardrobe for sure, but not necessarily wardrobe. It was safety moving around the stage wardrobe.
That's what I mean. I don't think in the 1870s people had open-toed slip-on sandals.
What
happened. They had slippers, but they would be for warmth. No, they would not be open-toed.
Red open-toed like sandals.
I just don't think. I don't think in the time, even when they would have looked at that later, the definition just wouldn't have been there. But in the screening room, it would have been there. They would have seen all of it in the screening room. But they're saying to themselves, "That's going to go away on television. We're just not going to see that." And we
probably never saw it until now.
Right. I mean, the audience has not seen it until now.
Yeah.
Until the restoration in 2014, when the show became digital and went to high res based on all the film. They went back to all the film and restored from the film. That's why, and then colorized it. That's why the show is so beautiful now. And that's why we see details like your braces in a shot. And, all this stuff appears. And you can't paint it all out. I mean, you could painstakingly, but they're not going to do that.
Right.
No, not 7 years worth. Yeah.
So anyway, Charles arrives home finally.
Yes.
And she runs out of these hot red slippers, this number.
But Charles, help me with this moment, because I'm not sure I get what's happening here.
Doesn't he come back with the wagon?
He faked it.
He has the wagon.
He did a faker-outer move, which is it's their anniversary, and he's like, "Here, I got something for you." And she's thinking this is an anniversary gift. She opens it up, and it's just like a basic grocery item
It's
she
spicy.
had asked
Is that
for.
the kind you wanted?
what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so
Okay.
Is that you said in the yellow label
Yeah.
is the one you wanted,
she
and
was-
that they didn't have at the
Right.
mercantile.
So then she was like, "Oh, he didn't get me an anniversary gift. He doesn't
Like,
even
he
remember
forgot
it's our
the
anniversary.
anniversary.
It's
Oh,
just
God.
this spice that I asked for
He
him
brought
to
me
get."
paprika.
Gotcha.
then he
And
takes
then
it
then he
out.
offers as she walks away. Oh, and I did get you something else.
Yeah. And then,
He did
but
remember.
here's the big old question. He
Okay.
pulls out this beautiful string of pearls. How
It's
in
a
the
necklace.
Prairie Grove world did Charles Ingalls buy a string of pearls for his wife? How? Now I understand for the story's sake, we're paralleling the beads, the beaded
Yes.
necklace.
He
with
got
the
her a necklace
It's an
again.
upgrade, awesome. But
Yes.
my God, in what world?
It's a big upgrade. That's a big
Hello?
Is it
upgrade.
implied that they are fake? Like she knows, like, how lovely you got me imitation pearls. Because where would he in Walnut Grove, Minnesota? And these guy can't even afford decent wheels.
can't buy
to
shoes
break,
for his
and he's got a
kid.
bloody string of pearls.
Yeah.
It
But
was
he
an
gets
odd
it, but-
choice.
Very expensive.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could have been glass. It could have been. I mean, there could have been all kinds of things that would have been the upgrade from the
Yes,
from the
from the
beads.
beads.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful, elegant, simple string of
Looks
pearls.
like pearls.
Yeah, it looks like pearls. Don't know, but looks like pearls.
We're
Happy
gonna say they're
anniversary.
not pearls,
They
because that would have
couldn't
been
be.
$1 zillion.
And so on this special day, may I have the pleasure of this dance? And then they do this whole thing with what are you talking about? I don't know. I feel like dancing. Well, then he asked Mrs. Ingalls, may I have this dance? And she puts up the wrong. Was it her? Yes, she puts up the wrong
opposite arms.
He
Yeah,
shows him the
Right,
other
which is what he had done
right.
when they first started
Had the
to
first
dance
dance.
together. I think that's what.
like
And
jogging his memory. Remember?
how's that for remembering? I remember. I love you. That's remembering. And they dance
To the music that only they can hear, except for
in their
Dave
head.
Johnson.
And it's the Little House theme as a waltz. Yeah. And that's our,
That's it.
that's our
It's just
episode.
it's a beautiful ending.
It's so
I mean,
pretty.
there's some moments where you go, is this hokey? But again, it's a story that's being told by Ma. Are there details left out? Are there things that don't make
course.
sense? Where's the rest of the kids? Because it's a story about her romance with Charles through the rose-colored glasses of her beautiful memory of why she loved him. And so then it makes sense. If only that other episode had been a story or a dream sequence. And then the ending is fabulous. Everybody cries, has happy anniversary.
Just love from every episode from now on. There's going to be some kind of callback to the older brothers and going, that's how we could have made that episode work.
I love this because this, I mean, unlike the older brothers, which really had no third meaning, which really had no real meaning or purpose or message in it that was significant. But this episode, this explores the way we get to see how family legends begin.
Yeah.
In this quiet story between a mother and her daughters, and this is how these things get passed along.
That's
This
right.
is how this happens.
And
This is that sharing,
we all
that
love a
intimate
prequel.
sharing that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. No, this is a great
And
episode.
foreshadowing all these people,
Yeah.
yet that little Charles becomes later Albert, that snotty little teacher's son becomes Standish's
Yes.
son. It's like it all, makes total sense.
Well, it is a lovely episode, and it puts the series, at least it puts our podcast back on track in the space of Little House that we really want to be in, which is the thing that audiences love about Little House. And this episode personifies it. Two wonderful performances by young actors who were just so terrific in this, and you totally believe what these two, they fit so beautifully with what these characters we have come to know them to be.
Yeah.
Through the life of the series, it's really, really special.
Hopefully when
Bill
they will
Claxton,
have,
kudos to Bill Claxton. He did a great job with this one.
Oh my God.
yeah, and this was also so written so beautifully. It was just great. Hopefully we can get Katy Kurtzman on the show.
That would be awesome.
That would be Amazing. But okay, so that's our show today, you guys. I feel like we've balanced the scales now.
I feel better. We've cleansed. We're cleansed.
Oh, in the next 10 episodes, we're going to go, see, if the Older Brothers episode would have just done this, it would have, okay.
I love all those guys, but the episode was just not a good fit for us. For anything.
We're more scarred by the Older Brothers than we were by the Mr. Edwards.
Or my Ellen,
Yes.
or I know, all of those.
Yes.
That was, but no, it's those brothers, but that's the one that bothered me.
That's so funny. All right, guys, we'd love to hear what you think about all of this. So please join us on our socials, Little House 50 Podcast, or our website, littlehouse50podcast.com, if you want to know everything that's going on. Also, please join us on Patreon. We have so many further discussions that we can't really air on the podcast. But I won't say any more other than you're missing out if you're not on Patreon right now. And so join us on Patreon. We'll be continuing the conversation. Like and subscribe. Give us a nice review. And we'll see you next time. Bob, get the wig. Let's fly. With beads and ribbons. And lunch pails made for you.